Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good, what's good, what's good? So I hope you enjoyed your long weekend if you're in the United States or you celebrate Easter. I took some time off just to relax. You know what I mean? Just to chill. I needed to recharge. I'm not fully recharged, but I'm getting there. But we have a lot of news to get to. What do we have today? So yesterday, I had reported some things. Belarus will finally launch their digital ruble using Hyperledger Fabric by late 2026. If you're that far out, I'm going to leave it there. A rising bank impersonation scam has cost victims millions by tricking them into sending money or gift cards or whatever, and banks are having big warnings about that. Binance is requiring all Indian users, from India, to re-verify their documentation because they got fined $2.2 million. Now, I want you to think about this. They got fined $2.2 million, by India. And the reason why is because they got documents and they weren't for sure. So I don't know. Good morning, PT Sumber Hit Up Transport. I know I'm mispronouncing that. I'm so sorry. But good morning to you. And don't forget to invest in yourself this morning. And thank you for stopping by. I greatly appreciate that. So that whole thing with them and getting hit with that whole 2.2 million. Now, $2.2 million is not a lot. But Binance has been breaking its back with regard to compliance. They've been trying to change their ways for a long time to clean up compliance. So they're hitting hard, heavy, and fast. So if you have a Binance account and you cannot, come up with your paperwork, it's a mandatory re-verification. Remember, any exchange can do this at any time for any reason. And that seems like a very good reason to me. Then you've got Tether acquiring a 21% stake in BitDeer because they want to be in Bitcoin mining. Tether is reaching out. Tether is stretching out in terms of what they do. They sit on billions. They make about, I want to say 4 billion dollars every quarter. And that's, on average. That's not a high. That's not a low. That's average. So with that kind of money, they can do almost anything. And buying into BitDeer is a really smart move. Something else that they're doing is that they also want to decentralize mining via a pool on leveraging Ocean. So that's a good deal, focusing on decentralization and rural market support, especially in Africa. Burgeoning geographic area with a lot of rare earths that are there. Something else that's going on. Glassnode data shows that short-term Bitcoin holders are facing unrealized losses. Shocker there. It's because they've only been holding for a short period of time. So yeah, they probably bought when it was in the 90s and now it's been hovering in the 70s and 80s. But today, Bitcoin's at 87,288, which is pretty good. Friday when I signed off, it was at like 84. 83, 84 range. So now we're in the upper half of the 80s, but there's a lot going on, and we'll get into that as we get into more news. JP Morgan Chase and Bank of New York Mellon severed data sharing ties with the OCC. Why? The OCC's mailing system had a breach. They had a breach. So it was a measure taken to try to protect consumer data. Then you've got Bank of America that must pay $540 million in a fraud judgment for underpaying FDIC insurance fees between 2013 and 2014. Yes. I want you to stop and think about that. So over 10 years ago, Bank of America did something wrong and they were able to kick the can down the road. So that 540 mil is going to be paid now. And the judge is upholding the FDIC's interpretation of deposit exposure regulations, which means that Bank of America saw it this way, FDIC saw it this way, and Bank of America lost. Kind of makes sense, right? FDIC sets the rules, you abide by the rules, it's not your interpretation. And there's that. I have an issue with the financial industry being allowed to kick the can down the road. I think that any court cases regarding, our financial system, traditional finance, new finance, whatever you want to call it, anything that with regard to that should be brought to the forefront immediately. Immediately. And I think that there are people behind those companies. Companies make decisions, companies make moves, but I think those people in certain cases should also be held liable, because maybe people would stop doing silly things. That's just my humble opinion. Now, today's news. Now, let's take a look at this week, because I didn't do the Sunday roundup yesterday. What we've got going on this week is a lot of Fed speak. We've got some numbers coming out this week that we'll go over a little bit. But we've got a lot going on. We're expecting Tesla's numbers tomorrow, Google's numbers tomorrow, just a whole bunch of stuff. And we'll get into who we're expecting this week, like, Comerica Corporation, Western Alliance. We'll get into all that in a little bit. But you have a crypto analyst called Tech Dev predicting all coins will rally and Bitcoin may reach 500 grand by 2026. Possible. I know with the current market constraints, you think that could be an impossible thing. I still think it's possible. Mathematically, I'll say it's possible. But is it probable? Yeah, nah. I think there's a probability, but I think that probability is like ridiculously low. Ryan Kimber, good morning or good day. Then you've got India and Italy signing a memorandum of understanding to boost scientific collaboration from 25 to 27 in AI, quantum computing, and clean energy, biotech, as well as startups. I want you to stop and think about this. And I've been harping on it for a long time. The United States has been offshoring a lot of jobs. A lot of those jobs wind up in India. India's been making really big moves and cutting some really nice deals. We should be paying attention to that. We should be having deals like that. The United States should. I mean, I'm not upset that India is having deals like that. I'm just saying, just pay attention and look at the contrast between what's going on now and what's going on later. Sad news, had to sell my investment in XRP for my wedding, but that's for love. I will be back soon. Though. Any investments to get into in the next month or so, I'm going to pump my bag soon. Your first investment is in yourself. So I'm going to say, do your own research, know your entries and exits, and invest absolutely invest deliberately rather. And so, what am I looking at? When I'm looking at I can look anywhere within the top 25 coins and find some really good deals that I'd be looking at going forward. That's me. The more, the lower down the list, the more risk you take. Also, the more opportunity for greater gain, but you have to have your own risk framework to be able to weigh how much risk you're willing to take versus how much reward you could possibly make. Sorry for the rhyme. I wasn't trying to. So there's a lot going on there. Back to the news, because there's a lot that we have to get through. You have market volatility happening this week. Why? You've got a whole bunch of Fed speak. You have a whole bunch of companies that are reporting numbers. Some of those numbers are not going to be very good. You're welcome, Ryan. Some of those numbers are not going to be very good. And the reason why is because tariff. And some people would say, well, it's only been like, a month since you started talking about tariffs? Well, I want you to think about that. It's been probably about a month and a half. So it started hitting on the tail end, but you started hearing about it before then. So adjustments had to be made. So I'm not expecting great numbers, and I'm absolutely not expecting great forecasts going forward. What else are we having? Ethereum's Vitalik Buterin proposing replacing the EVM model with a risk V model to boost smart contract efficiency up to 100x. Maintain backward compatibility. That's huge. As well as support zero knowledge proofs and modular upgrades like Beam Chain and Pectra. Wow. If Ethereum was to adopt that would be mega huge and probably blow a lot of people out of the water. the arguments that a lot of people have would probably be blown out of the water. Something else that I'm thinking of is that you have to also remember Vitalik Buterin also has quantum computing on his brain. And some of these moves could be toward helping Ethereum combat quantum computing. Wow. That's not small. US dollar index hit a 3-year low at 98.23 amid trade tensions, while gold soared to a record high of about 3380, 3,380. And like I said, Bitcoin had risen to about 87.5. It's, retraced a tad. It's at 87,284 right now as I look up. Then you've got Bitcoin ETFs recorded their lowest weekly inflow of 2025 with only $15 million. However, it's still positive. I will say that. Then you also have, why did Bitcoin rise? A lot of whales had purchased, I want to say, over $4 billion worth of Bitcoin. And how did that happen? Well, it happened OTC, but sooner or later it seeps out into the market, and people start to recognize, and numbers do get affected. Not as much as when it's direct, but still affects. So when I look at things like this, I'm kind of sitting there, I'm kind of going, yeah, we have a lot to think about. We have a lot to think about. You know what we should do now, though? That's right. We should get into the numbers. Give me a moment. Let's flip over there. Get my notes out of the way. Oops, that's not out of the way. That's further in the way. So right now, who are we expecting to hear back from? Let's go over this week. There you go. So we've got Google, Tesla, tomorrow, Procter & Gamble, AbbVie, T-Mobile, Philip Morris, IBM, Merck. That's a big deal. PepsiCo, they're right around the corner. Let's see, GE, AT&T, Verizon, another one around the corner. RTX Corporation. We have a lot of companies. ServiceNow is going to be big. ServiceNow is going to be big. And here's why. A lot of the larger companies start to pay attention to what their services need, and a lot of them leverage ServiceNow. ServiceNow is going to be affected by the contracts and licensing going forward. And I also want to see how much AI is affecting their space. Companies are undertaking a lot of internal projects so that they can leverage less licensing out there. So it's going to be very, very almost ridiculously interesting to see how the whole software as a service market, kind of, I would say grows. It's going to grow, but how it grows is going to be different. Because automation along with AI enable me to leverage less external services, maximize my internal data manipulation, as well as provide better customer support going forward. So there's a lot that goes on in that space that we should be paying attention to. What happens this week? Today, not much. We've got leading economic indicators, whatever, who cares? That happens at 10 o'clock. But tomorrow we have a lot of Fed speak. Philadelphia, Minneapolis, Richmond. Okay, these are very big things. And I keep telling you guys, you must pay attention to Fed speak. Why? It lets you know what's going through their heads. That's the big deal. We need to know, were you thinking that you wanted to lower rates, or would you have lowered rates? Would you increase rates? What are you looking to? Because you have to fight against inflation and you have to fight against job loss. So which side do you lean on to do that? And remember, we have a major problem here. We have a lot of jobs that get offshored. We have a lot of jobs that, they say are being created, but what level jobs? Right? And so I'm telling you, you're seeing massive numbers of people moving around the world, literally moving around the world. Why? Let me give you an example. It's easier for some people that are approaching retirement. It's easier to retire outside the United States for some people, from a monetary perspective, because there are cheaper places in the world that you could live and really stretch out your money. And as long as you're not working in that country, you can be a digital nomad or just straight up retired. There's stuff that you can do. You have options. You have major options. Wednesday, what do we have going on? More Fed speak. You have the S&P Flash U.S. Services PMI. You've got new home sales, the Fed Beige Book. Like I said, tons of Fed speak. I'm going to be paying attention because I just want to know, just kind of how you feel, which way do you flow? Because remember, some people are voters right now and some people are not voting, this go around, and then they go vote the next time, it switches, right? So there's that. Thursday, we have initial jobless claims, durable goods orders, core durable goods orders, business investment. That's what that means. Existing home sales, a little bit more Fed speak, and Friday is just consumer sentiment. Those are all the things that are happening this week that are going to be big, and we should be paying attention to those things. The fear and greed index is at 39. I'm not shocked that it went up a little bit. Why? Well, the market's going up a little bit. Bitcoin's going up a little bit. We're starting to see numbers that had come in and they were okay. But again, I'm looking for numbers that are going to be forward-looking numbers, because the tariffs are going to start taking a hit. I should actually sit down and walk through, what tariffs are and what tariffs mean, right? So when you go to the store and you have an item that costs $100, but it costs them $10 to get it, that means at the port of entry, they paid $10, and within that $10 were any and all tariffs. Well, that percentage of tariffs that gets hit is based on the $10, not the $100. Okay? Not the retail price that they're selling it for, the import price. So $10. So if you get hit with a 245% tariff, you're paying, what? $24.95 or whatever it is. So you start to think about it like that. Oh, that's what that means. Yes, that's what that means. You're not paying 2 times the product. Whoever's importing the product is paying against the value of the product as it's being imported, not the value of the product when they sell it. Which is why you see a lot of Chinese companies coming out there and saying, well, you could do that yourself. You could do that yourself. You can come here and we've got discounts for you. You could, that bag that you wanted, that Louis Vuitton bag that only costs, $50 to make, you could have that for $50. You could get it yourself and stop paying, these extravagant prices. Because what they're saying is that we have this bag, we make this bag. Same quality, same everything. We make this bag. You want this bag? We can sell it to you. Same design, just without the logo. So if you don't care about the logo, you can get high quality goods directly. That's what they've been saying on TikTok. And it's because we need to understand that the wealthy do not buy the crap we call luxury. They don't. There's this whole thing called quiet luxury that happens with the wealthy. I'm wearing a nice t-shirt. It doesn't feel like butter. I have wealthy friends. You feel their t-shirts and it's like butter. It's different. You know that term, built different? Yeah. Built different. So while we're out here buying luxury, this fake luxury that we've been made to think is luxury, that's not luxury. That's not luxury. That is not luxury. When you see somebody wearing, a t-shirt that's worth a few $100s, that's luxury. Like my shirt, it feels okay. But after having touched other textiles, I'm like, yeah, this is, it's just okay. It's just okay. And so it makes you stop and think, when I was a kid, you would go down the 34th Street in Manhattan and find a whole bunch of knockoffs. You'd put them side by side, same quality, same everything. But like, oh yeah, we come out of the same factories in China, blah, 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 blah. And then you just started seeing everything divide right there. Oh, this is luxury. This is not luxury. And then, stores started getting slick. And so now they make things that look like the higher end stuff, but the textiles are different. The pricing is different. And you can tell. Go buy something at one of these outlets and then take it to the real store and put them side by side and feel them. Built different. 9 times out of 10, they're built different because they've captured the awe of outlets. Outlets are not what they used to be. Outlets used to sell things that are out of market. People didn't want it, whatever, but they were higher end quality. Yeah, that's not what's going on now. You might have the name or close to the name of what you're buying, but not the same. So as we look at as we look at this, there should be a grand lesson on what is luxury, what is not luxury, and we should all be thinking, so why do I need that luxury stuff? Because I just need to look good, right? I don't have multi-$100 t-shirt money. Okay, I don't have that kind of money, so I just need to look good. But do I need to look that kind of good, or can I look okay good? Right? Because that's all it is. I have other things. I have longer term things that I need to do, and I don't have to worry about really expensive stuff. I don't need the $50 million. Well, I need expensive shoes because they last me longer. Truly, they last longer. I love Allen Edmonds. No, they're not paying me, but they're a little bit more expensive, but they last a really long time. I've got Allen Edmonds that I've been taking care of for over 10 years. And guy shoes don't come out like lady shoes. You find good shoes, you buy those good shoes. So I found good shoes, and I buy them once, right? Or I might buy them, like I'll get 2 at a time when I buy certain things, because I'm a big dude. I'm like 6'3". I weigh over 300 pounds. I'm not little. I'm not a little man. What else do we have going on? Look at Bitcoin. Do you see this? Do you see this? Boom. That was a straight shot up. I don't know exactly why that's a straight shot up, but that's a straight shot up in a heartbeat. And I think it's because there are rumors going around that there might be some kind of a deal between the United States and China. And China just flew back a whole bunch of Boeing, so I don't think so. I think that's BS. So I think we could be a little off here. It's not much. It's not much. I mean, like what, $2,000? It's not much at all. But I think there's going to be an opportunity. I think there's going to be more volatility this week that's going to take us through the rest of the week, and I'm going to take advantage of that volatility. I will absolutely take advantage of that volatility. Not a problem. Not a problem. No, I don't want to see this. All right. Then when you're looking at the big board, there are a lot of people that are up right now. I can tell you right now, I'm going to be shaving some profits. Some people might think I'm nuts, but I bought low. I told you I have my hodling wallets and I have my trading wallets. So for my trading wallets, I've bought low. So I'm going to shave off some profits, and then I'll wait for these numbers to come back down, and I'll get back in again. I still do my DCA for my hodling wallets, but on the trading side, yeah, I'm going to play the volatility this week. I'm absolutely going to play the volatility this week. All right. What else do we have going on here? Let's see. Let me refresh this page. I haven't refreshed this page in a minute. Well, that's refreshing. We'll go back over there. It's not problem. Actually, I can log in though. Should have checked that earlier, and I didn't because I'm an idiot. Take me to my watch list. Hurry up, people. We ain't got time for all this. There you go. All right, so Bitcoin at 87. I mean, I'm looking over here. Bitcoin obviously is recovering better than Ethereum. I'm still a major Ethereum fan, so I just keep DCAing into Ethereum. XRP, I love XRP, but it's a hair above in the green right now. It was in the red. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm all right with that. I'm still into XRP, BNB. Like, to me, these are all things that are for sale for me. Let's go over to Crypto Tracker. There you go. I want to take a look at the losers first. And Mantra is the biggest loser. It's been dropping on the coin market listing. It's down 7% right now, with a GMB X factor of 1566. Somehow I think it can come back. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. I just think that it can come back. The guy that's in charge of this, I think it can happen. I definitely think it can happen. VThor is down 5.16, and that's it. Boom, done. Done right there. I have a 5% rule. I don't pay attention to anything after that. You come over and you look at the winners, and you're like, oh, Wormhole is up. basically 18%. I mean, 17.99. I mean, come on now. So, so Wormhole is up almost 18% with a GMBX factor of 18.4. I do not own any Wormhole. I own no Wormhole, but I have been noticing its movement over the past couple of weeks. Stacks is up 15.78%. Somebody asked me, do I have any Stacks? Yes, I do have a bag of Stacks. It has a GMBX factor of 4.47. The reason why I keep talking about that GMBX factor is because that distance from where we are now to where it's going to be is that X factor, right? And that tells me what my potential earnings could be and give me an idea of whether or not I believe in it. So that's why I pay attention to that. Decentraland gaming, that's a big gain. 12.47% up with a GMBX factor of 17.85. Do I think it's going to get back to that 17.85? No time soon, but do I think it'll wind up getting there? Yes, because gaming is going to take off. There's been a lot of pent-up potential. There's a lot of stuff going on in the gaming space, especially when you combine gaming automation as well as artificial intelligence. That's going to be a big space. Big space. Fartcoin is up 11.42% with a GMBX factor of 1.72. Yeah, I think Fartcoin is going to do it. It's a meme, but I think it's going to do it. Nervous Network up 10.87%, GMBX factor of 7.89. No, I do not hold any, but I do recognize Nervous Network. I have seen them before. I've touched on it a couple of times. Don't hold it I haven't held it for a long time, but I've dipped in and dipped out. Gala, shocking, up 8.44% with a GMBX factor of 49.64. They got a hell of a long way to go. They're not going to make that in a long time. But can I make money off of Gala? Yep. They're a mess. Gala suffers from self-inflicted wounds, in my humble opinion. That's honestly how I look at it. SUI is up 7.83%, GMBX factor of 1.36. Injective is up 7.74% with a GMBX factor, excuse me, of 4.88. Yes, I believe in both of those. Stellar, you know I love Stellar. Up 7.69% with a GMBX factor of 2.38. Do I think it's going to get there? Yes. Let's see. Athena is up 7.62. Do I hold any? No. But do I think that they're going to recover from basically being kicked out of the EU? Yeah, I think they can recover. I think they'll get their act together. 4.10 GMBX factor possible. One of my friends holds Pendle. It's up 7.5, and they has a GMBX factor of 1.27. Yes, I think Pendle can do it. Who else? The Sandbox, another gaming space, 7.24% upward mobility with a 28.69 GMBX factor. Do I think it's going to make that 28.69 at some point? Yes. Soon? No. Anybody else am I paying attention to? Pepe up 7%. That's a big swing. The last three are all meme coins. 7.7% for Pepe, 6.98 for Cat in a Dog's World, Brett 6.97 with a GMBX factor of 2.58, 4.16, and 5.51 respectively. I think we're in for a good market. I think we should be paying attention to it. Everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I'll see you tonight during our Crypto Overflow show. Don't forget, today is a big day for you. Why? Because you are going to invest in yourself. That's 15 minutes of investment research. That's investing in yourself. So do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. And if you want to know how to apply that way of thinking, excuse me, across business, across crypto, across stock market, go buy my book, The GMB 3, The Art of Research, Timing, and Deliberate Wealth. It's available on Amazon. Everybody have a great day. Enjoy yourself. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust, because that means the most to me. Everybody